Mr. X here with another sell-off review. What is a sell-off review? Well, if you haven't caught one yet, because I have no idea when I'm going to air them, is I'm selling off a bunch of pieces to make room for new ones and get a car fund. So this is part of that, and part of my goodbyes to them is to do a review. And it's a stupid idea because I really don't want to let them go. But I'm going to do it. And it's been a hell of a day. I shipped 7 boxes, 5 internationally. My printer broke in the middle, so I had to go buy a new printer. I had boxed up 4 other pieces. I'm reviewing a bunch, and I need to get some work done. So kind of a crazy day. But let's not hesitate. Somebody posted today, actually, they like it when I don't edit bloopers. I rarely do, so that will not be edited. But let's do it. Mr. X with the Extreme Channel here with Prime 1 quarter scale 52 Cyborg. This piece was made by Prime 1 Studios in collaboration with Sideshow back before they got mad at each other. And I'm not sure who did what, but Prime 1 is the official manufacturer. So quarter scale means it's 1/4 the size of what he would be in real life. And this is from the new 52 series. So DC launched, kind of revamped the superheroes. It was either 2011 or 2014, a lot of the Justice League characters. And they called them the 52 version. So it's not your traditional. They are doing a whole line of this. They're doing Cyborg, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, and all 4 of those have already been released. And Batman. Everyone's waiting on Batman. I think that comes out later in 2019, early 2020. The only other one I own is the Superman, and I think it's fantastic. I like it better than I like this one, but I'm also selling him. The reason I bought him is I'm one of those collectors that thinks you have to have a theme. So you, for example, you couldn't purchase a quarter scale Cyborg to stand alone. You would need either a Cyborg enemy, which I have no idea who that would be, or you would need... Is my microphone on? It is. Whew. Or you would need the rest of the Justice League to go with him. So I had a Superman, I have plenty of Batmans, and I wanted to do Justice League because I have a custom Flash on order. And so I bought him, and he is great, but I don't want a Justice League anymore. So it's going to look kind of weird, but I will get over it, I promise you. Prime 1 Studios made 850 of these. There are 350 of their exclusive version. Exclusive means there's some additional switch outs, which we're going to talk about. And the exclusive version, which is what this is, ran for $749. The regular version runs for $699, and obviously they made 500 of those for you math majors. And in my opinion, this is an exclusive or fail. So the exclusive is $50 more, but it offers you 2 things. First is their switch out arm. So here is the normal arm that both versions come with, which I do like a lot. Very robotic, very cool. Reminds me a little bit of Iron Man though. And then the exclusive has this big ass cannon, which is even cooler. More cool, the coolest. Then the normal portrait that all the statues have is this one, which I don't like. It's kind of boring. And the exclusive version has this badass switch out portrait. So obviously that's why I think it's an exclusive or fail. And let's get dimensions on this guy. Kind of hard because as you see that's what she said, because the base is pretty elaborate, but if I had to guess, I'd say 16 inches deep, educated guess, or guesstimate, 23.5 inches tall, and probably about 15.5, 16 inches wide. For exact measurements, please go to Sideshow's website. And with this 52 series, I need to do some research. Well, I don't need to, you do, if you want to know. I don't think it was available on Prime One's website, so that's kind of crazy. And I don't think, I think they were doing an Aquaman too. Doesn't matter. But let's jump into the concept and design of this guy, because this is where it really gets interesting. I've already reviewed the Superman. I don't know if it's posted yet. And for the record, I'm also going to do a sale video where I'm selling these statues, and that may have already aired or not yet. But they went crazy on the base here, and there's a ton of stuff going on, and it's almost too much. It takes away from the character. Where the Superman base wasn't quite this crazy, but I don't think it took away from Superman, so I don't know why I think that. But tons of stuff going on from the rocks he's on, the broken buildings, the wires, the mechanics, all crazy all over the place. We'll look at when we go into sculpt and paint. And he's standing there in a semi-museum. Museum means he's standing for a photo. Semi-dynamic. Dynamic, he's in some sort of action. So it's a semi-dynamic, it's a semi-dynamic, museum pose. And he's about to blast away his enemies. And with the exclusive portrait, he looks pissed as hell. And one of the other things, when we talk about concept, he has kind of his jetpack or flight suit on the back, and it does come off, but you're left with a big keyhole, so you always want to keep it on. But I think that's a design flaw, because it's cool as hell, and you're going to see some pictures, close-ups, but you can't really see how cool it is. Most people don't have their statues on a rotating base, so that's a big arguable point. How cool do you make the back look? So why don't you guys throw out some suggestions of that? Does it just need to look good, or should they go that extra mile to make it amazing? Another interesting thing with the concept of Cyborg is he's kind of a lesser known Justice League member. And I've never figured out why, because people like cyborgs, they like robots. I mean, look at the success of a lot of the other big franchises, you know, not necessarily comic related. So I don't know why he never really took off, but yeah, he's just not a favorite of a lot of different people. Design-wise, not really a ton of good or bad things. Everything fits really well. The one thing I have noticed is the heads aren't magnetized in, they just kind of sit in, which is really, really unique. I just realized I've had that backwards for over a year, right when I'm ready to sell it. Anyway, the other part of this too, design-wise, is see these iron beams that are kind of flayed alive. These are also on Superman's base too. So I like the fact that they matched the bases up, but I'm not sure why they did that. Kind of an interesting design choice. But overall, let's jump into the paint and sculpt of this guy really quickly too. The other reason I'm selling him is I have the 1/3 Justice League from the DCU, the DC Cinematic Universe. I think it's called DCU. I was thinking of Denver Community University. It doesn't matter. Sorry guys, it's like I said, it's been a long day. But that one's based off the movie. It's 1/3 scale. It's by Prime One. I've done a review on that, and I do like that one better. And you go check out the review and you'll find out why. I think I also talk about daddy issues in the review, so if that excites you, go check it out. But jumping down to the bottom on the paint and sculpt. So again, they share a similar base. Each of them has the symbol of whoever they are, Batman, Superman. You see the C, the cyborg symbol right on the front. And then there's hieroglyphic type writing. It's not Egyptian hieroglyphics. I'm not sure what kind it is, but it's all over the side. So this sub base, kind of neat that they did go in that direction. But I guess one complaint I would have is that sub base is too big, and it just increases the size of the statue too much, because as you see above here on all the rock he's sitting on, there's another few inches. But it is neat if you want to put him behind the character. And the rock and gravel looks fantastic. So at the bottom, it's kind of this molten blackened rock with a different texture. And I really like it, like almost like it's melted. Maybe Superman's blast or Darkseid's blast or something like that happened. And then the regular rock too, totally different texture, all over the place. Looks really good, great shading, the grays, whites, blacks. Kind of this rubble effect in some areas. And then this concrete building pillar, again, it looks like it's shattering, it's falling apart. They did a great job on this. It looks better than the Superman one in my opinion. And you have these post-tension cables just popping out of it that were holding it together. Some really cool stuff. And then let's zoom back in on some of the wires and coils and electric aspects floating all over the statue. Again, this part wasn't in Superman's. And then check out those red iron beams. So really kind of cool faded rustic colors, really dark reds and blacks, almost like a copper but not. And then there's some scratches in them, some wear from the battle. And then on the ends, it's that orangish color that kind of makes it look like hot, really hot, like Superman fried it in half, or a bad guy did. So I think you see what I mean. There's too much going on the base. A good base looks fantastic, but it doesn't take away from the character. This takes away a little bit from the character. So I think that's a flaw in the statue. But it's a great base. Well done. Now, every once in a while, just to kind of talk politics when it comes to statues, there's bases that are elaborate as hell, but the main character still takes the cake. This is not the case here. Or it's just part of the storyline. This is not part of his storyline, so I think that's why I'm not digging how elaborate it is, even though it's done very, very well. But paint and sculpt on Cyborg. So starting at his feet here, kind of these metallic boots, kind of reminds me of someone's playing football in the future or something like that. Some cool different shading on it, black and silver and some different grays. You can kind of see the mechanics of the boot too, the different layers and the armor. And you're going to see that pretty similar all throughout the statue. One of the things, and I don't know, I've never read the 52 comics, but I don't like that this Cyborg is more robotic, not very symbiotic, so it doesn't look like it can change or move, and you don't really see a lot of robot parts. It almost looks like he's wearing an armored suit, and beneath the armored suit is kind of this black scaling pants type material. You do see a few wires on the outside of the thighs, which looks good. And then he has this red symbol, and I don't know if this is exclusive to Cyborg, but it's on his belt here, and you're going to see it later on his chest. But kind of this metallic underwear. Maybe it's a chastity belt, nobody can get open. And here's a quick shot of his back, of his ass. Again, there's not really a lot of muscular sculpt here because you can't, first of all, he's not a human. Second of all, it's underneath all this armor, so you wouldn't see it. But then back to his torso area here, you see again kind of that black scaling type material underneath his suit. Looks good. I wish it was more robotic. You saw more circuits and gears and wires and things like that. And the same follows up on his chest. He has the metallic armor on the outside and kind of that shiny black finish on the inside, and another one of those red symbols. Surprised it's not a light up feature. He has these giant shoulder pads that are actually part of him. They're not removable. You would think they would be. I never covered what's on here and what's not, but it's a lot of the same finish all over. And then I really like his arms. I think this is where it gets more symbiotic, robotic type, what I think of Cyborg, able to morph and change things, because there's tons of different gears and colors, and you can see some wiring in there. This truly looks like a robot. It just doesn't look like somebody wearing armor like the rest of them did. And then check out his big frickin' gun here. Just looks great. It's almost a little too wide, but I think that kind of tells a bigger story, that if you're in front of him, you're about to die. And then here's the close-ups of his jetpack I was talking about. This is really cool. Again, I think this looks like, something that can morph and change, and what Cyborg's all about, because there's so much more circuitry and so much more going on. I would have liked more of this in the statue. Almost looks like a spider. And again, it has that red symbol and then some thrusters, and there's tons of great detail right around the red thrusters there. Then moving up his neck, a lot of that black scaly type material I was kind of talking about. And then finally getting to his portrait. They did a very good job on his portrait. I'm pretty impressed. So first of all, let's look at the robotic part of it, you know, around his ear and the head. Kind of a chin strap, almost looks like a football helmet of robot around him, and it's covering up his left eye is robotic, it's no longer human. It's a little bit different color shade red than everything else, and his head is a bit darker, so it's kind of a mix between the black and grays we've seen, but some cool circuitry and stuff going on there. Then look at his hair. His hair looks like real hair. Great sculpt on that. Great coloring. And then the flesh part of his face. Awesome flesh tones for a black guy. Yes, I said black and not African American. Eyebrows are sculpted in. And the expression is awesome. His lips curling back from his teeth. Just the placement of his nose, and you can definitely tell the anger. Great coloring on the lips and the teeth. Fantastic portrait on this. So again, as I said at the beginning, this is probably a mistake because now I want to keep it. I do, but I'm #restraint. That's going to be the new motto. So this is probably going to air after New York Comic Con, and I have shirts there, and they have all these sayings on them, and I didn't put #restraint. I should have, because that's going to be the new extreme motto that I will never follow. But so let me know why Cyborg hasn't blown up to an awesomely huge character. Let me know what you think of this piece. Let me know stuff about the 52 comics I'm not aware of that I should have. If you're not a subscriber, please go ahead and subscribe. If you like statue stuff, crap like this, go ahead and check out my bio. There's a lot of great Facebook groups out there. There's a Facebook group. I'm an admin in a couple different ones, but there's one in there that you can join and share your stuff and see other stuff. About 11,000 members, so just say Mr. X sent you. But give me a like. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you next time. I want you to take care, and I really mean that. Don't go fuck yourself.